All right, welcome Dale Fritz. Thanks for joining me today, mate.
Thanks, Adrian. Lovely to be here, mate.
Mate, I'm really pleased to talk to you because we've been working together for, I think we've maybe just ticked over 3 years.
I would say 3 years, mate.
Yeah, so it's a while, right? And what I would love to do is for you to explain, I guess, your journey about how you've gotten into your business, and then we can sort of ask a few things. But you're an interesting character because you've got a background in sport, okay? And for those who are local, who watch, our local sport and things like that, they would know you, and even, I guess, from overseas as well. So first of all, how about you just, I guess, give us an insight as to who you are, and then maybe touch on, because I've dropped planted a little bit of a seed there as to you've got a professional sporting career. So how about you just give me a little bit of background about yourself, if that's all right?
Yeah, okay. I finished playing rugby league a good nearly 20 years ago, I guess. 2003, so it's getting a long time ago now. But played 10 years of ARL and NRL. We had a few changes during that period, and then I went and played in the Super League in England for 5 years. And then when I came back, looked at getting into training and personal training, which I've done for a number of years, and always with a view to having my own gym, pretty much. And that came along in the form of F45 3.5 years ago now. We've been open. But prior to that was probably a good 6 months of lead up work and a lot of naivety, I guess, without having business experience. So
yeah, well, look, we'll get into that in a second. Can you tell me more about like your footy career? In terms of what do you say, ARL and then NRL as we know it now, right? So what are the teams that you play for?
Yeah, well, I started back in '89, so giving away the age a little bit there. I was only 12 when I started.
Wow.
No, not really.
How's me going then? I was trying to do the math in my mind, so this doesn't stack up too much.
No, I started with Steelers in '89, and then I was there for a number of years before I went to West in Sydney, over to Perth, the Western Reds, which we've only just had our 25-year reunion.
Wow.
At the last Origin, which was on the weekend. And then I went to North Queensland Cowboys for a year, and that completed 10 years in Australia. And then I went for another 5 years over in the Super League with the Castle Tigers. So,
wow, that's amazing.
Career and great times, great memories.
Yeah, I bet. So, look, in terms of, obviously you've been athletic and been into fitness, for a long time. It's a major part of your life. Then you got into personal training after that. But it was always a burning desire of yours to kind of get into a business of some sort, yeah? Yeah,
that's right. I always just sort of thought it would just be opening a gym of some description. So I looked for a number of years at different options. Have looked at different franchises as well. And when I saw the F45 model, I just said, that's it. That's the one for me. So it wasn't an overnight decision. It happened over a long number of years.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I think you come off a really good time of people getting into CrossFit and things like that. And I think I'm showing my age as well, right? Because we're only young, but when you think about going back to the days when I first joined the gym, they had circuit training. Okay, so if you were one of the big guys, or you were more, I guess, I wouldn't say professional, but you were more experienced, you would go down and do some classes, or you go and lift some weights. But if you just wanted to really get fit and tone up and sort of get some fitness and muscle tone about you, you would do the circuit training. And the circuit training used to flog you. Like they would pretty much just have this buzzer that would go off every, 30 seconds or a minute. You could just adjust the timer, and you went to the next station. You kind of did all these hydraulic type of movements, on the elliptical bike or whatever it is, that kind of stuff. Do you remember those days?
I do, and they're still around, to be funny.
Yeah, that's right.
There's
The F45 model.
Yeah.
Yeah, the F45 model kind of combines that old school circuit training and then puts in the new age kind of CrossFit type of stuff in there as well, which I think works so well because, mate, it gets results, you know. It really does work a treat, yeah?
Yeah, I think CrossFit was probably had a lot to do with that F45 model, and they took the idea of CrossFit and made it really for the masses. That's my take on how it sort of come around. Simply, CrossFit probably is a little bit much for the normal person. It's more of an elite sort of a person's go, I would imagine. You know, I think it's quite full on. Some of the lifts that they do, there's a lot of learning techniques in there. So I believe F45 has filled a market there for the masses, really.
Yeah. All right, so let's jump ahead a little bit. When I first met you, you were referred to me by a friend of mine and a mutual friend who does videography and photography, right? Yeah. So, which, you know, George was doing a lot of my work and still does to this day. And when I met you, you'd had one studio, and I think hovering around, I don't know, 50 or 50, 60 something members at that time. But you'd only been open a little ways, like it had been about 6 months or so.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so when we come on board, it was obviously to kind of get the name out there, because you'd already done the traditional things like doing some reach out stuff and getting some letterbox drops done and approaching local businesses and things like that. And you had a kind of initial surge in members, and then things started to kind of hover a little bit and plateau. So can you just give me like a recollection, I guess, you know, going back a couple of years, as to, you know, what you saw at that time that you needed, and where I kind of fit the, you know, what drew you towards, you know, the digital media marketing and myself in particular?
Yeah, well, look, F45 has always been using social media as a marketing platform. I really didn't understand it well at all, and we were doing our best, which really wasn't quite good enough, to be honest. We weren't reaching the right market. We weren't reaching enough of the market, and I really didn't have a clue on how to do it correctly. And that's where George sort of was able to, you know, direct me to you as a you know, someone in that field, and I think we hit it off straight away on a lot more than just the social media areas. And you know, the business mentoring side of things was massive for me, especially in that early stage, and continues to this day, really. You know, we talk about all the areas of business, and it always gets brought back to social media. And
yeah, totally.
What's our next step? But you know, in that early period, we needed a lot of help social media wise, and then we took that next step with you know, business mentoring, which you know, has really transformed the business for us.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, my experience personally is that I get involved in businesses from a marketing perspective, and then because I've been in business for so many years, you kind of just see areas where there's little holes and gaps and things like that need to be filled and all the rest of it. But social media is only some of the parts, yeah? So as we know, you know, everyone needs a customer. You know, we've got the place that people want to go, and we need a customer to come in. But then when the customer doesn't just come in, we need to kind of give them a reason to stay and give them results, and then nurture them, and then ask them for additional business. So there's a lot more to it. And then that comes with, as you grow, comes more growing problems. So then we've got staff we've got to hire, and then we've got more people to manage, and then we've got bills, and we're expanding and all that kind of stuff. So it kind of just builds. And people don't realize, if you're outside of business, it's hard to kind of relate. But when you're in the throes of it, you just realize that this is so much more than what I thought it would be. It's so much bigger than what I ever imagined. And it's really all on our shoulders as the business owner. And so therefore we've got to go home and try and be a loving husband and an awesome dad or mum or whatever it is, or husband and wife. And then at the same time, we've got to manage all of these people and keep it all together without, blowing up, I guess. Yeah. So, which is interesting because there was a time that we sort of got together. We went, I think from my memory, we went from about 50 odd, 60 odd members up to about 120, 30.
That's right.
In a short period of time. And then you had the awesome idea of starting a second studio.
Yeah. My wife stopped me.
Do you remember that conversation? Anyway.
I jumped in and did it anyway.
You did it anyway, that's right. Which what I love about you just go in boots and all and then figure it out as you go. But I remember having a conversation with you, and even just the fact that you've gone through the business model already, but then duplicating it two times over was just like another thing altogether. It was there was a couple of things. So can you just tell us about like where you were at with that? The maybe not so much in a huge amount of detail, but maybe just explain some of the the go-wrongs and a few things that were weighing in. Because I remember you were going to go, I'm going to do this and that and whatever. And, like it's, we're just going to hit Easy Street and, all that kind of stuff. But it wasn't the case, was it?
No, that's right. It was very much different to what I had envisaged. I thought it would be easy just to duplicate what we'd done. And I had forgotten all the difficulties that we'd had at the certain stages of pre-starting, starting up, going to that next sort of stage where we were at by that stage at Corrimal in the first studio. So it was just relearning and remembering everything all over again, and it really did get me down and got on top of me really, and was very fortunate that I had you there to help steer the ship and stay in control during some pretty difficult times.
Mm. Now, what do you think makes the difference between, like, we obviously touched on the social media things, which is great. That's about marketing and, getting eyes and attention on what it is you do and what you have to offer. And then what I call getting bums on seats. We want people to either buy your stuff or, come in and join your gym. But what really makes the difference for you? Because what I know about you in terms of, say, from a mindset perspective, drawing upon your footy career as a professional athlete, there's a lot of, I guess, similarities between having a really, really good team in like a football team and having really good players around you, and then having the guts and the grit and the determination to keep going even when you're getting dirt kicked in your face, so to speak. And business is kind of the same, right? So where do you think that kind of like mindset has really benefited you in from a business perspective?
It's a difficult one, but I think you're right. I think there's a lot of crossover and correlation, and that's probably why a lot of businesses do get football heads and sporting heads to go and speak to the execs about their experience and their knowledge of teamwork, because it very much is similar to sport in that sense, where your staff, your management, the business sort of direction is very much like a game of footy for one sport to make that analogy. But you can certainly cross over and use the same sort of mindset in sport as you can in business and running the business. You've got to have that leader. You've got to have that group behind the leader, all singing off the same hymn sheet and working towards that one goal, which is winning the game. And for us is having a successful business. Yeah,
100%. So what do you think has made the difference with us working together in terms of, like you mentioned, we do mentoring, and we also, obviously work with your team in terms of marketing and creating content and things like that. Can you sort of articulate maybe one area that's really, really helped you as a person, or one particular situation that kind of created a turning point?
I think, one big one for me of recent has been your help with getting on top of staff and staffing issues, and how to give my staff the knowledge that they need to do what I need them to be doing in the business. That was for me a big turning point of late. We probably weren't giving our staff very good direction, and giving them the knowledge of what their job really entailed. And I think, that has been a successful thing for us lately, and we're certainly in a good position to, really grow the business over the next few months leading into our peak period, which is the lead up to summer. I think the work we've done with staff of late is going to really bear fruit soon. Yeah,
100%. And what about you personally?
Well, I've just stepped out of having a 10-year mining career and gone full time in the gym, and
that's awesome.
And I'm learning a lot about the things that we've been talking to our staff about, and as a manager doing the same role as a lot of my staff, I talk up a lot of things that the staff need to do, which I haven't been doing, and then giving myself that excuse of, oh, well, I'm still working in the mines, I don't have time to learn all those little things. So I've been learning a lot of the little things that I need to be aware of, which is the stuff that we expect all of staff to be on top of. So, it's so handy to have good management, and as an owner, fitting into that part of the business and being one of those roles is, been a big step for me, and you've been a big help in that area.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I really like about you personally, Dale, is that and again, I draw this back to your footy career, is that you're coachable, right? So there's a lot of people that reach out and kind of go, look, I need some guidance and things like that. And you offer guidance, but they don't take your word. They don't do what you say to do. And to me, there's a big difference and a fundamental difference between someone's success and I guess not succeeding, is the fact that they don't have an open mindset for learning. So even though you are a business owner, even though you have been a professional athlete and you've achieved so many things, at the same time, you have a mindset of, well, I'm open to learning new things, and I'm open to criticism. I'm open to improving my game. If there's a way that I can run faster, create a different step or throw the ball different, then let me know what I can do, because I would love to improve, right? So, and there's one thing I want to credit you for, is that as soon as I kind of say, look, I think we need to step up to the plate and we need to kind of do a few little things different and lead from the front, and you kind of just took the bull by the horn, so to speak, and just leapt into it, which again, you've had a tendency to just throw yourself into stuff, blindly, I guess, and sometimes it's paid off and sometimes it hasn't, but I think in this respect, that's something that I really want to credit you for. So well done. I think you're leading a great team in 2 studios so far, which is just an amazing accomplishment in, 3.5 years, which is amazing. And we're now up to, between the 2 clubs, I don't know, 370, 380 members. I can't remember.
We're getting around those areas, yeah.
Yeah, which is just brilliant. So what's next for you, and what's next for F45?
I'm definitely not taking on another studio. My wife has put a foot down on that one. And I'm sure my manager, Kate, would be happy to hear that. But
we've got a lot of growing to do first.
Yeah, look, the first thing we need to do is, at this stage, which is the difficult part of the year, and this time of year, whether it's cold and dark and wet, is keeping current members coming and motivated to come and keep improving themselves and pushing towards their goals and reminding them of their goals, and then as sort of we get through winter, which really is a difficult period, I only had a conversation with one of my members this morning, and the biggest part of the day was actually getting to the gym. It wasn't having to go through and do the effort there, because she was already there. That was the hardest bit, was getting out of that nice warm bed on a cold and dark morning. So this is the time of the year when we've got to work hard on current members and helping them to achieve results. But as the summer months come on, a lot more people are motivated to go and start getting into the gym to look good for summer. And those are the times where we bear fruit as a business and grow. So we're preparing ourselves for that and coming up with strategies and what we need to do as a business to grow as summer comes on.
Perfect. All right, mate. Well, listen, I look forward to continuing to work with you guys. I think you've just got a great team that is continuing to grow and learn and flourish, and I'm excited about what the future has to hold.
Thanks a lot, Adrian.
It's my pleasure, mate. I look forward to seeing you again soon, and thank you for your time today.
Okay, thanks very much, mate.
See you, buddy.